Hello, I'm Beth. Welcome to this yoga practice designed to help you let go of the day. This is a practice that you can do before bed or really any time that you want to unwind. We'll be doing just 3 poses in this practice. We'll be moving through them slowly in a relaxed manner. The poses are going to be supported with props. This is restorative yoga, so we support ourselves with props to help ourselves relax into the poses. You can use either a chair and a common folding chair, or even a couch can work for this, or a bolster. And if you don't have a bolster, you can use a couple of pillows from your bed to firm things up, a firm couch cushion, or even a stack of folded blankets. And I can show you the poses with both the bolster and the chair. All right, so we'll start right away. So we'll start seated, and you're going to take your legs out to the side. Now you have a couple options for how to place your legs depending on how it feels on your body. You're going to have your hip facing your prop, either the chair or the bolster. I'll show you both. I'll start here with the chair. So it's my right hip. If you're facing me, it'll be your left hip facing the chair. And then both knees bent out in the opposite direction. Now you can have your knees stacked. You can have them more apart in 90-90. You might have to do a little adjusting to see what's comfortable for your knees. I'm just going to slide a little closer to the chair. I'm going to go about halfway with mine. I'll start to breathe in my body upright, and as I exhale, I'm going to spin around my torso, turn to the chair in a little bit of a twist, and I'm just going to support myself over the chair, placing my head down, resting my head on my arms. So how you support yourself on the prop really depends on how much you want to pull yourself into this twist. You can move the prop further away from you so that your torso stretches out longer. So if you found a spot with the chair that works for you, stay there, release into it, rest. I'm going to slide the chair away so I can show the option with the bolster. So same thing with the bolster, is going to snuggle up to the side of your hip. As you breathe in, you'll grow tall. Exhale, spin around the spine, so revolving around the rib cage, and then lowering your torso over the bolster. And I really love this version. It feels so restful and relaxed. If you're wearing glasses like me, I encourage you to take them off so you can really release into the pose and not have them get into the way. Now I have my head facing you, so my neck turned in the same direction as my knees. This feels like a really cozy and comfortable place to relax. I could shut my eyes and doze off here, and I have. Or if you want more of a twist on your neck, more of a stretch in that direction, you can lift your head up and turn it around so your head spins in the opposite direction of your knees. Now that's going to be more intense and maybe too intense for your neck. If you're looking for more restful, relaxed practice, I encourage you to keep the head in the same direction as the knees. Now hopefully by now you've found a restful place for you, either with the bolster or with the chair. And we'll stay here just a little bit of time. You can stay as long as you like. And in fact, if you find a comfy place in this pose for you, no need even to go on to the other 2 poses that we're going to do tonight. As you're here, start to be aware of where you can feel the breath in your body. So it's absolutely not necessary to change the breath at all. Simply drawing your attention to the feeling of your breath. For example, lying this way, I can feel my lower ribs pressed up against the bolster as I breathe in, and a little bit of withdrawal as I breathe out. Wherever you feel that, you might simply notice to yourself or note to yourself in, out. Let's take 3 more noting breaths on this side, being aware of the inhale, awareness of the exhale. And after your last exhale, start to walk your hands in. Gently push yourself away from your prop. And we'll switch to the other side. Now you can simply turn around. I'm going to shift my props to the other side so I can stay facing you. So this time I'll show it with the bolster first, and then I'll end up on the chair to finish so you can see how I stay a little bit on the chair. Getting the props around might be the hardest part of your practice. All right, so I have my props. I have my hip faced to my bolster. I'm going to arrange my legs on this side. And you might find that you arrange your legs a little bit differently depending on how this side feels. Maybe it feels better to have them more stacked on this side. I'll show it that way to start. Find your position, breathe in. We always breathe in to create a little space in the torso, and then we twist around that space, especially around the thoracic spine, the rib cage area. Extend the spine over the bolster. You can go right to the chair if you're using that, and then settle in. And your arms can simply rest wherever is comfortable. So I have mine sort of down the side, gently hugging the bolster. You could actually have an arm back on your legs if that's more comfortable, or right on top of the bolster. Once you get into the stretched out position, then you might decide to rearrange your legs into a slightly different version. That's fine. So you stay. If you're already there, I'm going to come up and show the chair version on this side. Scooch my bolster a little bit out of the way. So remember that using the chair, we still have our hip to the chair, and you can take yourself as close or far away from the chair that winds up feeling right for you. I'm going to turn toward the chair, and that my torso is not on the chair like it was on the bolster. It's mostly my arms and my head being supported, my shoulders as well. And then I lean out. And this still feels really nice and restful. The same thing as we discussed on the other side. If you prefer to take your neck, spin it around so that your head is facing in the opposite direction of your knees, that's an option. That feels a little too intense for me, so I'm going to stay with this nice relaxed place. I'm really trying to let go of the day, unwind, release tension. And then let's take the attention back to the breath. Again, just a breath awareness. Where do you feel the breath in your body? And can you offer yourself a simple noting? Could be just a word, in or inhale, out or exhale. It might be a short phrase. Breathing in, breathing out. This is my in-breath. This is my out-breath. Whatever feels right to you and helps keep your attention on your breath. That's all we're doing by drawing our attention there and doing a little bit of noting. We're helping ourselves to keep our attention there. So let's do that for 3 more breaths. And then after your exhale, help yourself up, and we'll come up to seated. I'll keep the chair on this side. We're going to sit facing your prop, your chair, your couch, or your bolster. So we'll do a little bit of a forward fold here. I'm going to have my legs in a butterfly or a diamond shape. Now you can actually have your legs however you want. They could be cross-legged, they can come out wide. I find this little butterfly really relaxing, and I'm going to scooch forward again. I've got my little soft mat here that's sliding around with me. And in fact, I think I'm going to take my legs around the chair, just because that's where the legs fit for me. Now you might have to adjust this for you. This is where it might be a little bit more challenging with a couch if you can't get your legs underneath. You can always have your legs crossed, and I'll show with the bolster as well. So we're simply going to fold from the hips, thinking about sending the tailbone out behind us. We're not rounding in the pelvis, but folding right from the hips, so that you can come somewhere with your head, chest resting, and then you have a little roundness in your upper back. Now, if I decide I want more of a fold, then I'll just have to switch the chair so it's a little further away from me. And then I can take a little bit of more of a fold. You can see I have more of a hinge at my pelvis, my hips, although I'm still not tucking my pelvis under and rounding. I'm hinging forward and then allowing some softness into my upper back as I rest my head and my arms. The chair is a wonderful option for this. I love doing it with the bolster too. And the bolster is really adjustable because we have different heights on the bolster depending on your own flexibility. And you might have the bolster sitting right on your legs and you can take your torso forward over it, head down. That feels okay to me, but a little bit more deep than I want to go. So I'm going to turn the bolster on the vertical edge. And my preference is to have my forehead or have the bolster, the prop, come right between my eyebrows because I find that really relaxing. So I'm going to play around with that spot and see if I can find the place where I can rest the bolster right there. And I'm going to have to hold on to the bolster a little bit. So in these restorative type poses, it's fine to take a few moments at the beginning of the pose to adjust, to figure out where your ideal spot is. And then once you get there, then we want to try to soften, try to become a little bit more still in our body. And of course, one of the goals of yoga is eventually to achieve some of that stillness in our mind as well, that meditative quality. So adjust if you need to and see if you can find a little bit of stillness in your place. And as you hold here, return your attention to your breath. Now see if you can allow the exhale to soften a little bit more, maybe a slight extension of the longer than the inhale. So not forced, not a lot of effort here, just a little bit of drawn out, and you can use your words to help with this. So it'll be something like in, out, in, out. Continue on your own, maybe lightly counting about 5 or 6 rounds of inhale and exhale. That's about 30 seconds for many people. It might be a little longer or shorter for you. Let's give it a try. I notice that as I hold the pose, my breath rounds start to slow down a little bit more. I can feel the entire pace of my breath just naturally slowing as I sink into the pose. So try about 3 more breaths. Again, not trying to do anything forced with your breath, but naturally allowing a little bit more space for the exhale, a little bit more length. And breathing in at a natural pace. When you feel ready, and again, use your hands to walk yourself up and out of the pose. So our last pose that we're going to do tonight is a supported version of Shavasana or relaxation pose. I'll actually show you 2 different positions for the bolster, and then I'll show you a wonderful option with the chair as well. Now, if you have a favorite way to relax after the end of your yoga class, you can certainly go right into that. So the first option I'm going to show is the bolster behind the back. And exactly where the placement is behind the back, you can adjust that. So you can have it come to the bottom ribs, or you can have it come all the way down to the lower back. So I like to have my pelvis more on the floor, so I have got the bolster right about my bottom ribs. And then I'm stretching out, and this feels really nice. This gives me a lot of space across the front of my torso, my chest. Can feel nice if you're having any labored breathing, to have this openness, to have a little bit of back support. Now your arms can be wherever you want them to be. They can be resting on your body or out to the sides. I naturally stretch my legs out long, but you can again do a butterfly version or have the knees bent, and that might be having the knees touch lightly together. So that's a supported back version. The other way you can use the bolster, or one of the other ways, there's countless ways you can use it, is under the knees. So for a little bit of support, some people like this for their lower back and find that the support under their knees feels really wonderful. And then again, you have the option to stretch the arms out to the side, palms up. You can rest the hands on your belly. You want to find a place that feels restful. That's really your only goal here. And so if you found that already, stay there. I'll roll over and show the last option with the chair. And this one can be done on a couch, on a bed. This is an alternate to legs up the wall when you don't want to go all the way up the wall, but you really want that little bit of a mild inversion. You sidle right up to your prop and take your shins on the prop. So you have this supported shin position. Now you can have some cushioning under your pelvis if you'd like to lift the pelvis up a little bit with a blanket or even with your bolster. So you can combine the bolster and the chair here. Take a moment to settle into that position. You might take the first few moments in the pose to return to that breathing and releasing a longer exhale. Once you settle into that breathing pattern, you can let even any effort on your breath go. No need to continue your focus on your breath or your attention there. As you stay, I'm going to roll to the side and sit up. And to finish, I'm going to lead you through a little bit of a body scan. So body scan is just an awareness of your body, and it's a nice way to relax. Again, if you're doing this before bed, you might find that it helps to release your body and allow better sleep, something that you can do anytime. So let's do a kind of a bottom up. I'll direct you to feel your feet wherever they are. So they might be dangling off the chair in that last version. They might be all the way on the floor. Draw your attention to your feet. Release any muscular action from your feet. Let them be floppy. And slowly we'll bring the attention up the legs, noticing your calves. It might be resting on the chair or the floor, the backs of your legs, your hamstrings. Notice the parts of the entire back of your legs that are being supported, whether it's on the chair or the floor or your knees are touching each other. Draw your attention there. And then we continue with the attention up to the pelvis area, noticing the back of the hips, the pelvic girdle, feeling all of those spots where they're touching the ground, maybe a softness if you're on a blanket or a mat. Continuing up through your torso, noticing your lower back, your mid-back, the area around the lower ribs. Perhaps you can feel those gently touching the floor. Behind your shoulder blades, your upper back. So notice which parts are touching the mat or the ground or whatever you're lying on. And then have a sense of your front body, your front torso, your front ribs, relaxing and sinking into your back body. Continuing, notice the sense of your arms. Perhaps your hands are resting on your belly or they're out by your sides. Feel your arms all the way up to your shoulder blades. Notice where your shoulders are resting on the mat, or maybe you're using the bolster. And then lastly, we take our attention up to the head. The head is resting somewhere on the ground, on the bolster, on the floor. Let the back of your head be heavy and completely released. No need to hold the weight of your head. And then take your attention to the front of your head, your face. Perhaps a slight wiggle of your jaw. A softness of that same space between the eyebrows that I mentioned before. Let your whole face be soft. And finally, take in 3 mindful breaths. As you breathe in and out, being aware of your whole body softening, perhaps just a little tad more, releasing into the props that are holding you, letting go of any effort. And you can stay here as long as you want. No need to get up. Stay if you're feeling relaxed. Stay. Let me know what you thought in the comments below if this was really relaxing for you. If you like this restorative style of yoga, I definitely have other practices. You can check them out over here. Please give me a thumbs up or like so I know that you like these kind of videos. I'd be happy to hear from you. Have a great rest of your day.